That entire thing, I'm not even sure if it's that interesting to watch. But hopefully you can just see what LEEDS is like and just get a bit of an insight into what it looks like.
Guys, welcome to the University of Leeds. I'm Emily, I'm a finance student here at the university.
And my name is George, and I'm a third year student studying criminal justice and criminology. And today we're going to do a virtual campus tour. We really hope you enjoy it.
As you can see behind me, this is the Great Hall. It's one of the oldest buildings that we have here on campus, and it's why Leeds gets its nickname as a Red Brick University. Inside it's really grand, and so it's a really nice place to have your final graduation ceremony and also other major events throughout the year. It's also a really nice place to get those final graduation photos when you finish your degree.
Behind me just here is LEEDS Library, the state-of-the-art library here on campus. Now here is where you'll find some really nice collaborative spaces to work with your friends. LEEDS Library is also highly sustainable, powered from head to toe with solar panels. It even has a beehive on the roof. Now on a side note, if you're looking for some R&R, LEEDS, it's got a lovely coffee shop that I tend to frequent quite often.
So this is the Sustainability Garden. It's a really nice green space that we have right at the heart of campus. It helps to promote the biodiversity, which is something that I really like. To learn more about which plants you can eat and different types of gardening and permaculture, and it's just something that's really great to get involved with.
Welcome to the Parkinson Building. This building was Grade 2 listed and was also the logo of the university. As such, this landmark can be seen from miles away. So if you're ever in a hurry or you're lost, just take a look up in the sky, look at this building, and you will be found. So inside the Parkinson Building, there is a plethora of things going on. Downstairs, you may well have classes. However, most of the things are going on upstairs. Throughout the semester, you will see that there are many fairs and things going on the main floor. There's also a lovely cafe. And last, but certainly not least, is the magical Brotherton Library. This library is the 4th largest research library in the UK.
And Students' Union. It's a real heart of campus life here at the university. There's always stuff going on inside for everyone. There's things from bars, clubs, and even my favourite coffee shop, which is located just in the basement. It's a really great place to catch up with friends, and there's always stuff going on for you to get involved with. Like where I'm stood right now, there's usually a farmer's market during the term time, and also things like vintage clothing sales, and it's always got a really nice atmosphere about it. It was also awarded an Excellence Award by the National Union of Students a few years ago, and was the first ever union to do so. It's a really great place to be.
Here at the ZIF building, there are many forms of university support under one roof. So whether you are seeking further inquiries about your accommodation, or an international student requiring support, or even if you are inquiring about studying abroad, the ZIF building can accommodate your needs.
That was literally it. It was just a really short video. Just told me that my accent is very northern, so I'm from Yorkshire, so I'm hoping that people can actually understand what I'm going to try and turn it down a bit, because I think you've probably seen the meme where it's like bottle of water. And I'm really trying to pronounce my T's. I'm going to try and say bottle of water instead, so people actually understand me. Yeah, so as you probably saw in the video, they mentioned the Leeds University Union, which was the building where the outside the farmers market's held, and inside we've got coffee shops and everything really. So I just wanted to go into that. So every university in the UK has a union, and this is essentially an independent organisation that's run by students for students. So the Leeds University Union, it provides students with the opportunity to speak out about any problems they're having, and it's actually run by 6 student exec officers who are elected every year by fellow students. And I'm not really sure how it works here, but in the UK, most people that attend university are 18 years old, and it's usually the first time away from home. So university is when people move away from their families, and so because of that, it's much more than just academia. You get your degree, and of course that's the main aim of going to university, but it's also about learning how to be independent, making friends, discovering new hobbies. And because of that, so in the UK, for the first year of university, your grades do not matter. So all you need is to pass the year, and what they really want you to do is just go out there, socialise with people, and not focus as much on the academics. Of course, they're still important, but more priority is given to other things. So the Leeds University Union really helps with that because they organise extracurricular activities such as societies, events and nightlife. So they'll often have gigs at the University Union with some actually famous people coming in. I don't know if you have societies here, but what they essentially are clubs that are created by students, and people that are interested in that club can join. So, for example, at the University of Leeds, we have over 300 societies. We have sports societies, so football society, rugby society, rowing society, literally anything you can think of, and the people within that society will meet up to play a match or watch the match on TV or in real life. And it's a great way to just make friends with like-minded people. And what usually ends up happening is people join societies and then they continue the friendship outside of that society because they've already got a common interest that's bonding them together. As well as sports societies, we also have cultural societies. So we've got like an Italian society, we've got a Singaporean and Malaysian society, we've probably got an Indonesian society, and that's just where people from those countries are interested in those cultures, they can attend those societies and just learn more about those places. We have religious societies, so Buddhist society, Islam society, and you don't have to be a Muslim or a Buddhist or from Italy to attend those societies. You just have to have an interest in the subject. And if literally none of the 300 societies appeal to you, you can create your own with the help of the LUU. So as well as managing the social aspects, so the extracurricular activities, the LUU also represents the students' academic interests. So if I received a grade in an essay or an exam that I just don't agree with, or if I want to make a complaint against the university or one of my lecturers, I can go to the LUU and they'll talk me through the entire process. So in that sense, the LUU is not aimed at lecturers or the staff, it's literally for the students, and so they have the students' best interests at heart. And as you briefly saw in the campus tour video, the LUU actually exists as a physical building, and it's a bit like the closet in Narnia, because you don't expect much from it, but once you go inside, it's absolutely massive. Like in there, we've got a theatre, we've got a club, a club, we've got loads of food shops, we've got an ice cream shop, a bubble tea shop, student support offices, and loads of places where you can just socialise with your friends or study. It's truly like an amazing place, and it's often regarded as the heart of campus because it's where students go to meet up with their fellow students. As well as that, the Student Union has a service called JobLink, and with this, they help students find jobs or internships. So a lot of students in the UK, they have a part-time job alongside their studies just to earn a bit of money and gain experience within what they want to go into in the future. But I think it's really hard to find jobs that align with your studies because often the employers want someone who can work specific hours or come in at just the click of a finger, and that's really hard to do as a student because you want to put your studies first, and the LUU helps with that by finding you a job in which you don't have to sacrifice your student time. So as former students and current students, and literally everyone, even if you haven't been a student, knows life can get really stressful at times. And so the LUU also has health and wellbeing support. So if you're having any mental health difficulties or if you're just having a hard time managing your money, you just want to talk to someone, there's a dedicated team that helps you out with everything to do with that, and they offer confidential support, and it's free to every single student that attends the university. So in conclusion, the LUU's literal job is just to help you love your time at Leeds. So like I said before, it's an organisation that's created by students, for students, and without it, university would just not be the same as it is today. At the end, I'd just like to know if you guys have an organisation that's similar to this, and whether you have societies and what kind. So I mentioned at the start, which seems like so long ago now because of the technical difficulties, that I ended up doing a study abroad year, so my degree is international, and I actually went on my study abroad year last year, and I just returned, I think 2 months ago. I attended the National University of Singapore, called NUS, and I chose to study at the University of Leeds because they have an amazing international program, so they've got links to a lot of universities all over the world. So whether you want to go to America, Asia, stay in Europe, Africa, you can find a university. For me, Singapore was my first choice because firstly, NUS is in the top 10 of the world university rankings, and also Singapore is just really well connected, and I knew I wanted to travel Southeast Asia, so it was the absolute perfect decision for me. My year at Singapore actually ended up being one of the best years of my life. I've made so many amazing memories, and it was my first time traveling so far from home and for so long. So I was absolutely petrified going there, but having done it, I can honestly say that my confidence in myself has increased so much. So as well as it being the best year of my life, it's also just really good for my CV. So we actually have an employability officer at the university called Sarah, who all she says to students is that in today's day and age, everyone can get a degree. Unless you're doing medicine or nursing or one of those courses where you're required to have a degree in order to carry out your job, you need to do something else that sets you apart from other people. Because the likelihood is that when you go to apply for a job, the other candidate is going to have the same degree as you, but what they won't have are the same extracurricular activities as you. So it's quickly becoming apparent, at least in the UK, that that's the case. Employers, they do care about your degree, but as long as you've passed and you have a degree, it's okay, what else are you bringing to the table? How else are you going to benefit this company? So I understand that going on a study abroad year is not something that everyone can do, and for me, I was really lucky to, just be born in the country that I was born into and attend the university that I attended, and that opportunity was there for me, but I know it's not there for everyone. But there are other things that you can do. So, for example, at Leeds, we're encouraged to volunteer at an organisation that we perhaps want to go into in the future. So for me, I know that I want to work with children, typically from disadvantaged backgrounds, and so during my first and second years at university, I mentored with an organisation that helps students to just motivates them to attend university. They're often from low-income backgrounds where their parents have not attended university. Usually the parents can't speak English, they're often refugees. So my role was to just mentor them and to encourage them and show them that they can go to university. Sorry, coffee break? So, like Sarah says, you need something other than your degree. You need to have something that sets you apart from other people. So because of that, I would just really encourage you guys to volunteer or even just get a part-time job at a coffee shop, because you can, when you're applying for a job and they're interviewing you and they ask you a question, in the UK it's very typical for them to ask you, tell me about a time where you had to do X, Y, Z. And you can't really use examples from university because most of the time you just sat on a chair listening to someone else talk. So it's really important that when you have that outside experience, you can say, yeah, I worked at this coffee shop, I had to interact with customers, I had these responsibilities, I had to multitask, and it just sets you apart from everyone else. And as well as that, I think it's really important for your personal development, like just putting academics and CVs and employability aside for a second. So for me, going to Singapore, it was completely out of my comfort zone. I had never travelled before, like not even with people, I just had never travelled before. It just wasn't an opportunity for me before then. And having done it, I think it's one of the reasons why I applied to come to Jambi. If I had not gone to Singapore, I would not have come here, and I also would not have applied for a job that I got at LEEDS I'm due to start in September. So I think if like there's one thing that I'd leave you guys with is just to say yes to anything that comes your way. Like, don't let anxiety or anything like that hold you back. Even if you're not fully qualified for the role that you're applying for, just go for it. So yeah. That concludes my presentation. Sorry about the little disruption in the middle, and sorry if you couldn't understand my accent. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions or any remarks, I'm just really interested in knowing what the differences and similarities are between life at university in LEEDS and life here in Jambi. So yeah. Can I ask? Yeah.
Alright, thank you for taking the question. So, I'm Olivia Pinungulan, and you can call me Olivia, or Olivia for short. I'm from the English Education Study Program, and I'm now in my 5th semester. So, from your presentation, what interests me the most is about LU, or LEEDS University Union. So, I want to know how can you be a member of this union, because this is an organization, right? So is there any process, any recruitment process to join this union? Because in our campus, if we want to join an organization, we need to register, and there are a lot of steps that we need to face. For example, like we need to attend the interview, etc. And how about the LU? Because the programs that they provide, they give, are very, very interesting, especially the health and well-being support.
Thank you for your question. I'm really surprised to hear that. So is that like, say if you want to join a sports society, you have to go through an interview?
I'm curious about the LU.
Yeah.
Or is there any division under it, or how does the LU work?
So
To be the member?
yeah, so with the LEEDS University Union, you're in a way automatically a member as soon as you become a student at the University of Leeds. But if you want to join the societies, it's as easy as just sending them a message on Instagram or WhatsApp, whatever it is, and you just turn up at the meeting. And sometimes like you have to pay a membership fee, but it's usually like £5. So I don't know how much that is in rupees, but it's like quite cheap for students in the UK. And you might have to pay if you're going on, social outings, but there's no real requirement, unless I guess if you're playing in a tournament, like a sports tournament. In that case, you have to be good at it, but in most cases, no. That's fine. Does anyone else have any questions or any remarks about similarities?
Yeah, just an addition to Madhiya's explanations about lateral university unions. I remember I joined the International Students Association, where I got the card for international students. You always put it in a necklace, where you travel on a couch, and then you got discounts or concession card. Yeah, so it's quite good to attend any particular community or associations or uni, because you get you will get a lot of benefit from that, such as me joining International Students Association with that particular card. You got concession or traveling on a train or on a coach. It's about 15% or 50% concession. Is that?
I think the rail card is 30%.
30%. So
Yeah.
because I used to buy my ticket traveling overseas with that from our office in the students' unions. You got concessions.
But also, if you're a student at the university, well, any university in the UK, then you get a student card, and many places, if you go like either in Leeds in the city centre, or if you travel around in the UK or in the world, you get a student discount. Maybe like 5, 10, 15% off. In shops like buy clothes or restaurants and stuff like that. So that's quite a good thing as well.
Yeah, because I remember that times go to London and every term I got concession for coach to London for return tickets. Concessions for 30%. It's quite good.
Yeah, they have like a lot of vouchers like
Yes,
that
a lot
still
of
for
vouchers,
students.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that a thing here at Jambi or just Indonesia?
And that's different situations where your student's card only will be used to show you that you are university students. No concessions or anything like that. Because it's already cheap anyway. Any more questions for Madhiya? Oh, one last question. Yes, go on.
The last? For the last question?
Because we have another presentation from here. Yes, go on.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So, I have one question about you mentioned about health and well-being in the University of Leeds, and I'm really curious about the things that you mentioned about the mental health support. Thank you for mental health support, right? And I'm curious that the mental health support is about a counseling or something like that, and if it's a counseling, do we need to pay for it, and how the process of a counseling do? Do we do the counseling after we just once, or the counseling keep going until we feel better? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. So with the counselling support, if you do need mental support, you can fill in a form and you can write if you require counselling, and I think it's about 4 sessions or 5 sessions that you get for free. And then after that, if the counsellor decides that you need more, they'll add you to like a list. And I think then you get help on the NHS or something. But the university, in severe cases, might still be able to offer more support. And you don't have to pay; it's free if you're a student at the university. And most universities, actually all universities in the UK probably offer that.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that in your first year, you get assigned a personal tutor. So that's a lecturer from your school who is kind of like looking after you, and like you meet like once or like twice a year. But if you have any questions, any concerns, whether that's about academic stuff or your own your personal life, you can always reach out to them, and in most cases, they know where you can find support, because my experience is that the university just provides so much support, and it's just like a really good contact, because they know, because I'm not fully aware what's available, but they know it, so you can go to them and they'll tell you you just need to contact that person, and so I think that's a really good system as well.
Yeah, and just to add, as well as that, we also have within each school. So, for example, me and Gary are part of the School of Education, but there's also School of History, School of Medicine, so many. But within the School of Education, every school that leads, we support officer. So if you're having trouble with assignments or just need any support whatsoever, you just email them, and because when you're experiencing mental health difficulties, I think it's quite a big task to go apply to counselling and go through it yourself. So they kind of talk you through it and they help you apply. So they would literally sit with you as you're applying. So the support at the uni is great.
Yeah, my experience actually, because of us from the same uni, for the mental and other supports, actually at the School of Education for Masters at that time, lecturers actually having a regular meeting for students who are having all those difficulties, just in case the students having difficulties. So we have a regular meeting with the academic tutor and personal tutor. So these two people are in charge. So you have your own personal tutor, is it personal, and the academic. But we have a regular meetings like 2 weeks or in every week's meeting, and we visit a lot of places together in a group with that personal tutor. So I don't think you're going to have that a lot. For international students, we are mostly having all those issues regarding to the difficulties that we found in the academic and getting into personal. So the academic tutors and personal tutors mostly are working together. With the international students, you will get a very good support and a lot of recreations actually. So that stress will go at the same time, I reckon. Yeah, I still remember my academic tutor was Professor Martin Baggett, maybe you know, he was still there, and my personal tutor is Lynn Cameron, so very popular in young learners. If you study young learners, Lynn Cameron, yes, they are very good. So Leeds University for me is perfect. I've been to many universities, and I found Leeds University School of Education in particular is the best. Before Madhiya end the speech, I just like to remind to all of you here that actually the British government provide a lot of scholarship. For nowadays, they even provide for bachelor, if I'm not mistaken, international bachelor scholarship. But for masters and PhD, they were available since long time ago. The only basic requirement is IELTS minimum 7. And for the School of Education is 7.5. But there is a but, because actually I'm not directly will be accepted at the School of Education, Leeds University at that time, because I only have 6 months teaching experiences. The requirement was actually for masters international student at that time has to be 3 years. But if your GPA is higher than 3.5, you can straight away go in with the IELTS minimum 7 for the School of Education. Other school, I don't know, probably they can accept you with 6.5. But the School of Education, especially if you are doing TESOL, the minimum 7. But if you got 3 years teaching experience, probably they will reconsider that, because you have a lot of teaching experiences. So you won't have that problem. But for sure, Leeds University is a very good, School of Education is the best in the UK. That's for guarantee. I went to study in Australia. They won't give me fully research. And they say you have to fulfill the requirement of 2 courses with distinction. That was in Australia. And I said, oh, that's hard, because I have to spend 6 months to study that. But I showed them my certificate from Leeds University. They straight away said, yes, you can go in. So they were surprised, you're from Leeds? I said, yes. Meaning Leeds is very well known university. I think very famous. They're very well. Leeds University is very well known, especially in the School of Education, in the School of Economics and Law, all of them. Anyway, I specialize in education, so I say education is the best, but in fact it is the best in the UK. Thank you very much, Madhiya, because we still have Gary with his presentation on non-native English, and this is very relevant to the youth study. This is very current research carried out by Gary. It was 2022 or 2020?
This year.
This year, so it's very current issues. Okay, thanks.